Weight plates are expensive, but do they have to be? In today's episode of GDS, we're making weight plates out of concrete. These are the tools and materials I used in this project. A scale, a plastic pipe that fits over your barbell, a bucket to mix concrete in and something to stir with, rebar mesh or some sort of reinforcing fiber, another bucket, this will be used as a mold, and of course some concrete, some PPE, this wouldn't be a DIY project without hot glue, and finally some painting and spackling equipment. Step 1 will be cutting out the rebar mesh to the appropriate size. I marked the edge of the bucket on the rebar and then cut the rebar a couple of centimeters in from that marking. Since we're making 2 weight plates, we'll need 2 of these rebar frisbees. I also scored the plastic pipe so that the concrete has something to adhere to. Now we'll apply some hot glue to the end of the pipe and then stick it down in the bucket, making sure it's centered. You may want to add some extra hot glue to be on the safe side. Okay, now it's time to bring out the other bucket and weigh out the desired amount of concrete. Unfortunately, I forgot my actual dust mask and had to use a regular face mask instead, but it's still better than not wearing anything at all.
Spooky smoke. Don't breathe this.
Turns out I didn't need a scale. I ended up using the entire bag of concrete, which was 20 kilos. Next I added water according to the manufacturer's recommendation. I would suggest starting at the lower end of the range since it's easier to add more water if it's needed but hard to remove once it's added. Now mix up the concrete. I'm using a paint stirrer and a drill and it worked really good, but if you don't have a paint stirrer you can always use a piece of wood or even your hands. Before we pour the concrete, I like to remove some of the air bubbles. You can do this with your hands, pieces of wood, a massage gun or even an incoming call. Next step is to pour half of the concrete into the mold. Once half of the concrete is added, we can add our rebar mesh and then top it off with the rest of the concrete. And once all the concrete is added, we will vibrate and shake the mold again to ensure we've removed as many air bubbles as possible. I also used a putty knife to try and make the top of the weight as smooth as possible. Now you may find that the pipe isn't sitting straight in the mold, so to fix this we can simply add some support and secure it with some hot glue. Once that's done, we just have to wait for the concrete to cure. A couple of days later, it's time to remove the weight from the mold. Cut off the pipe as close to the concrete as you can. As you can see, excessive hot glue use is actually a good thing. Now, on a soft surface, gently persuade the weight to As you can see, despite vibrating the concrete, there's still a lot of bubbles visible. Anyways, we'll go ahead and remove the hot glue and trim the pipe flush. Technically, the weight is now done and ready to use, but it doesn't look very nice, so we'll go ahead and sand the surface and fill in all of the voids with spackle. Painting it also makes it look a bit nicer and has the added benefit of making it a bit more durable. I'm using some black wall paint, putting on a few coats and letting it dry in between each coating. Finally, I finish up with some matte clear coat to hopefully give it some extra durability. And that's it. The weight plates ended up weighing about 22 kilos each, and the total cost was about €25 per weight plate. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.